on
episode number 2, making Gravlax with Lil and Marty.
And what is Gravlax? Gravlax is cured fish, cured salmon. What does that mean? That means we take this mixture here, 2 parts brown sugar, light brown sugar, to 1 part kosher salt. You don't want to use regular salt. It's too fine, like table salt, and you don't want to use anything with iodine in it because that'll flavor the fish in a bitter way. It won't be good. So we have 2 pieces of fish. Lil insisted that we show you how it looked when we brought it home. She's going to prep this. This piece here has already been prepped. It's just been rinsed in cold water, dried off with paper towels. If you want to do any trimming with a knife, you want some of the skin cut off, this has the skin on one side. I prefer making Gravlax skin on. I think the fish comes out with a better flavor, but it's really your choice. You can do this with just a single piece of fillet, skinned on both sides and kind of covered on both sides with sugar and pressed. We'll show you how that goes. Start out with, that needs to be washed. Get your water running. And this piece we will just put a little black pepper on. I prefer that. I don't know that it's very traditional to put black pepper on, but I think it's just my roots. I like pepper on fish. Anyway, then you take that piece of fish that you've peppered and you liberally sprinkle it with, I don't know, maybe up to about a ½ inch of this sugar salt mixture, and make sure it's covered on the edges, on the sides, because what we're doing here is the salt is basically the cure, the sugar is for flavor and sweetness, which kills some of the saltiness, and then we will also add a little bit more flavor, which is very traditional, which is fresh dill. This was fresh at one time. It's been in my freezer, which is what I do to preserve dill, because it's hard to use it all up when you buy it at the store. So a little dill, and then a little more, actually, of the sugar mixture, because now we're putting our second piece on, and we want a layer between the dill. Okay, now one thing we have to do here, we want to pepper this piece before we lay it down, which is a part I always forget. Doesn't hurt anything, then you end up with a piece of fish that's peppered and one that's not. Okay, that goes on kind of the opposite of what we had. We had the fat, this thick part is down here. We're going to turn that so the thick part is right there. And this just has to do with the way it fits together and then the way the cure will be able to work. And then we want to, not too much more, a little bit on the sides here to make sure the sides. But when we do, we have pre-lined this glass dish with plastic wrap. And now we're going to tightly, as tight as possible, and making sure that our, go ahead, our fish is really snugly wrapped and completely covered with the mixture. In other words, you don't want any really fish parts showing. A little there, but okay. And then there's your package. Believe it or not, then you take something heavy and flat, put it on top, put this in the refrigerator, 24 hours, and tomorrow we'll be back on camera. What will happen is the salt will extract the moisture from the fish. That's the cure. It'll take away any it'll take the moisture, the water out of the fish, which is where the bacteria grows. So once you get the water out of the fish, which is the 3-day process, then the fish is cured, and we'll show you what that all looks like as the days progress. That's it for this.
We'll be back. We're at on day 2 of Gravlax. The Gravlax has been sitting in the refrigerator with a weight on top of it, 10 pounds, for the past 24 plus hours. There's been some liquid that has accumulated in the bottom of the container. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take off the top and take the fish out. Lay it on the side. That's opposite.
That liquid can pour off there. I don't know. No, that's fine. Okay.
And then
Show them your liquid.
this is the liquid. Yummy fish oil. And we're gonna pour it out.
It's actually not oil. It's water.
It's definitely
It's
fish
water
oil.
and no.
Definitely fish oil. Definitely gross. Whatever it is. But then take a paper towel, wipe it out.
Okay. Actually.
Do I have to wipe off the other fish?
No.
Then you just want to flip over the fish. It's easy to tell which side was the one on the bottom. You want to put the other side now down on the bottom and lay the container back on top. And then we're going to take it down to the fridge again and place a 10-pound weight on it for 24 more hours. Then we should, when it's done?
Nope.
Nope, then more. We'll be back. Part 3 soon coming. Okay, we're back on day 3 of making Gravlax. There's been another 24 hours of the Gravlax sitting in the kitchen, in the refrigerator, with the weight on top of it, and we're basically just gonna flip it one more time. Same process we did yesterday. Make sure you know which side you flipped on. And put it back on. Another 24 hours in the refrigerator with the weight on. And it'll be good when it's done.
Okay, good morning. This is our final day of taking care of the fish, the Gravlax. So it's been flipped twice. Let's just unwrap it. And as you can see, there's more liquid in the container here. This is 2 relatively small pieces of salmon. When I do this, usually prior to the winter holidays, I buy a case of salmon fillets and do all of those, and I can fit 4 fillets per pan, and I use big roasting trays. 1 piece. Just lay the other one right there. As you can see, the fish has changed color a little bit. This is all the dill. I'm just going to take cold water, rinse it off, rinse off the excess salt, the excess sugar. This helps. Try not to rinse off too much of that pepper that we put on. Then we're going to dry it real well with clean paper towel. And then I'm going to trim it off, because this piece we're going to put in the freezer to eat at another time. And then the second piece will show that's the skin, that's some tough skin. You're going to need a sharp knife to do any of this. I'm just kind of trying to make this look pretty.
Camera's up this.
Can you what? Yes, go ahead. So that's pretty much done. I'm going to wrap that, save this piece, we'll eat that later. I'm going to wrap that in plastic wrap, put it in a Ziploc freezer bag, and pop it in the freezer. And it'll stay there and be wonderful to be defrosted for some nice morning or evening for an appetizer, or morning for breakfast. And then this is some belly meat. I'll show you how I kind of cut it off the skin. I don't know if I said this at the beginning, but I prefer the skin on fillet. I think it tastes better when you have a finished product, but you do have to know how to use a knife. Isn't that pretty? Okay, we'll clean this one up similarly. I'm just trimming these kind of corners off because it makes it easier for me and cut it into nice pieces for serving. Alright, so again, that's a little belly. And we'll just show you what it looks like. So that's a piece, a lovely piece of cured salmon in the old Scandinavian way, flavored with a little dill. And that's it.